Okay, so today we're going to talk about a player who was, well, the pure chaotic soul of football. For just a minute, let's set aside Pele, the king. This is about the man they called Alegria de Povo, the joy of the people. This is the story of Garrincha, the angel with bent legs, and his story, it kind of challenges everything we think football is today.
All right, put yourself in this scenario. It's the 1950s, you're a world-class defender, you're at the top of your game, you look across the pitch and you see the guy you're supposed to mark. And honestly, he looks like he was put together with spare parts. His legs are bent in ways that just don't seem right. And you think to yourself exactly what's on the screen. This is going to be an easy day. Fast forward 90 minutes, you're sitting on the turf, your ankles are somewhere else, and you're just trying to figure out what on earth just happened to you. So this really gets to the heart of the Garrincha paradox, doesn't it? On one side, you've got this list of what any doctor would call, well, disadvantages. An S-curved spine, one leg turning out, the other turning in. But on the other side, the results speak for themselves. The world's most feared winger, a two-time World Cup champion. See, those weren't flaws at all. They were his secret weapons, his superpowers. His body was a puzzle no defender could ever hope to solve.
So how did this happen? To really get it, we've got to go way back to his childhood in a little town called Pau Grande, which is where his story was pretty much supposed to be over before it even started.
You know, he wasn't born Garrincha. His name was Manuel Francisco dos Santos. It was actually his sister who gave him the nickname. A Garrincha is this small, little wren native to Brazil, and they are notoriously quick and just impossible to catch. And that name, it was perfect. It completely summed up his style on the pitch. It was never about brute force. It was all about that elusive, unpredictable, darting movement, just like the little bird. In this number, 6 centimeters. That's how much shorter one of his legs was than the other. 6 centimeters. For almost any other athlete, that's it. Career over. But for Garrincha, it was just another piece of the strange, unique physical puzzle that made him, well, completely unstoppable.
I mean, look at this. The official medical opinion on him as a kid was that he'd be lucky if he could just walk normally. They basically wrote him off as an invalid. But you know what? Garrincha couldn't have cared less about those reports. He was out on the streets with a ball at his feet, turning what they called deformities into this beautiful, revolutionary kind of art. The game was all that mattered, not what some doctor wrote on a piece of paper.
Okay, so let's jump forward to the world stage. Because, look, being a local hero is one thing, but doing it at the World Cup, that's a whole different level.
And get this is just incredible. At the 1958 World Cup, Brazil's own team psychologist said that Garrincha, and a young Pele, by the way, were too infantile, too immature for the pressure of the big matches. Can you believe that? The so-called experts, they just couldn't wrap their heads around his genius because it didn't fit into their neat little boxes. Thankfully, his teammates knew what was up. They basically forced the coach to put him on the field.
All right, now let's go to 1962. This is where the legend is really cemented. Brazil, they're the defending champs. And then, disaster. The king himself, Pele, gets injured. He's out for the rest of the tournament. For any other country, that's game over. The dream is dead. It felt like the whole nation's hope was about to just collapse.
But then, Garrincha happened. He just took over the entire tournament. Seriously, it's one of the greatest individual performances you will ever see. He was scoring, creating chances, dribbling past 3, 4, 5 players at a time. After he completely took England apart, the English newspapers were at a loss. They said he wasn't human. He was an extraterrestrial. He literally, single-handedly dragged Brazil to their second World Cup title.
So, how? What was his secret? The complex tactical plan? The hidden formula? Well, here's the crazy part. There wasn't one. At all.
This was the whole move. That's it. Number 1, stop the ball. 2, shimmy to the left. 3, explode to the right. And 4, repeat. Every defender in the world knew it was coming. They knew exactly what he was going to do, and it didn't matter. They all ended up on the grass anyway. The genius here wasn't complicated. It was just the perfect, unstoppable execution of something incredibly simple.
And this really highlights the clash between his way of playing and the modern game, right? Today, it's all about highly orchestrated moves, tactical discipline. Garrincha, he was pure, raw instinct. He wasn't out there to follow some coach's rigid plan. He was out there for one reason, to entertain, to bring joy, to make people jump out of their seats.
But, and this is the really tough part of the story, that beautiful simplicity, that pure joy he had on the field, it just wasn't there in his life off the field.
It's a classic, heartbreaking story of two completely different lives.
That same wild, untamed spirit that made him a genius with a ball at his feet, it led to a really chaotic life away from the game. He was just driven by emotion, by instinct, not by logic or planning. And that led to some serious battles with his own personal demons. It's tragic, really. He could make a football do anything he wanted, but he just couldn't get that same control over his own life. When the music of the stadium stopped, he was kinda lost.
So when we look back, what's his legacy? Clearly, it isn't about having a perfect, polished life. So what is it? I think it's about something much, much deeper. Something at the very heart of what football is supposed to be.
Think about how we measure greatness today. It's all stats, numbers, tactical analysis, how many trophies you have. And yeah, Garrincha won the big ones, but that's not really his legacy, is it? His greatness was measured in a totally different currency. It was measured in emotion, in freedom, and in just pure, unfiltered joy. He reminds us there's another way to value a player.
At the end of the day, in a sport that's getting more and more scientific, more calculated, Garrincha was just pure art. You could even say his biggest win wasn't a World Cup. It was the simple fact that every single time he touched the ball, he made millions of people feel pure happiness and a sense of wonder.
So I want to leave you with this final thought. In today's game, with all its clinical precision and data-driven tactics, have we lost a little bit of that magic? Do we need more angels like Garrincha? More players who remind us that football is also supposed to be about joy? What do you think?